Greetings, beautiful ones. Sonia from Empowered Sovereign. And how are you being? One day post the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Yes, dear ones, that was a moment in time that we are all still feeling right now. And we are leveling up in our consciousness, dear ones. Yes, that is what is happening. Even if you are unaware of what is happening, dear ones, energetically, we are maturing. We are in a phase where our divine feminine is rising. That is what is happening, dear ones, for every soul on the planet, every man, woman, and child, because we all have a divine feminine and a divine masculine. So that is what is happening, and we are leveling up. Yes, yesterday, the full moon, I was feeling the energy because I am an empath. I feel things which I'm just finding out about this like a year or two before it actually happens. Yes, I have noticed that it happened with COVID with me, and several other things I have noticed that has happened a year or two before it has actually happened. And the only way I notice is because I am on a path of mastery. Yes, dear ones, we are all on a path of mastery, and your average, most of the collective would not look at it as the path of mastery. But because we are in a new era on the planet, and this era, dear ones, is all about us decluttering. From yesterday with the full moon lunar eclipse, which was about, and still is, closing out karmic cycles. Yes, this is the decluttering that I'm speaking of. We are decluttering all of what no longer serves us, dear ones. And this is energetic, of course, because we are energetic, multi-dimensional perceptions, expressions, beings that exist throughout infinity. Yes, beautiful ones. Wow, I'm seeing a beautiful magenta over my head right now. Yeah, I keep seeing it just kind of go in and out. But yes, dear ones, we are graduating, we are leveling up. And as I just said, our divine feminine is rising. That means this is the inner work. We are going within. Yes. So when you go within, you can hear from your inner guidance. Now, it's hard to hear from your inner guidance when your whole entire life you haven't been listening. You know, at times you do listen because it's a part of us. And guess what, dear ones? We can no longer deny our divine feminine, because our divine feminine is what brings the balance. We have to balance. We have to bring our divine feminine in alignment with our divine masculine. This is why a lot of us women, we may at times be operating in our divine masculine because of the world we live in, right? We have to get up and take charge. Yeah, we do. But it comes to a point that we take charge so much that we forget about our divine feminine. We forget about that soft, gentle, receptive part of us that does not scream, that does not holler, and does not push its way, because the divine feminine doesn't have to do that. No, the divine feminine is very powerful. And as I said, We are rising and we are balancing that now. All of our karmic experiences, we are allowing, we are releasing those karmic cycles. Now, those karmic cycles, of course, was necessary because that's how we grow. We grow from our karmic experiences. But if you don't grow, guess what's going to happen? It's going to just repeat. It's going to repeat. It's going to repeat. So this full moon was an opportunity for us to clear it all out, to have those things come to the surface. We can heal it, we can acknowledge it, we can confront it, and we can release it. Yes, because it's energetic and it gets lodged in our bodies. Yes, it gets lodged in our bodies because our bodies hold memory. This is how we continue to repeat certain things, because it's a memory. So this full moon was here to help us clear out all of those distant memories, karmic cycles that does not serve us. So we're still in the process. We're still learning, we're still growing, but because we're in a new era, as I said, humanity is graduating and learning. We're learning to go inward. So this brings me to the next message that I'm being told to share with you all. This is just right off the cuff. Nothing. I was receiving some messages to share, and this is what's coming up. So in this phase, this new era of us rising our divine feminine that is so gentle and graceful yet powerful in the silence and the stillness, we all have chosen to come here. Yes. And guess what, dear ones? I didn't know that I chose to come here. But I am putting the pieces together, and I try to the best of my ability to stay in my own lane so I can learn from my own inner guidance and do not have other people's opinion to taint what I'm picking up. Okay? So, because we all chose to be here. Yes, we all chose because we all have free will. We all consented to come here. So because we all chose to come to Earth, yes, we chose to come to Earth, dear ones. We have graduated to another level of our essence, which is an energetic essence. So that means we are beyond the earth. So if you're listening to this video and you think that you came from your parents and that is it, I'm letting you know that you're in a limited mindset. And because of that, you're not going to be able to expand and see the bigger picture. No, you're not. You have to elevate your consciousness out of that mentality and know that every single person has come from a higher place. So back to me. As a child, and I have shared this with people. As a child, I didn't know how I got here. I didn't know that I chose to come here. I was 4 or 5 years old, and I can distinctly remembering saying to myself, how did I get here? Like, I was really saying that. I knew who I was. I knew that I was a fractal of the divine. I knew that. And I thought everybody knew that. And I knew my purpose. I knew that I was here as a messenger. I knew I was here to help people to remember and to uplift everyone. I knew that as well. So you're looking at a person that didn't know that I chose to be here. And I was 4 or 5 years old. And I had to go through the life journey just like everyone else and figure it out. And of course, I figured it out that I chose to come here. So because we chose, now when I say chose, we consented to come here. Now, what is consent? Now, I'm just picking this up today. Consent means we have chosen, we have consented to come here. Now, sent, let's break down that word sent. Sent means with God's favor. We were sent here with God's favor. We were sent here with the Creator's consent, with God's essence upon us. This is why we consented, because on a deep soul level, we know that. I keep seeing magenta over my head. I keep seeing magenta. I think that's, I don't know what energy that is. I keep seeing magenta over my head. So we consented. That means with God's favor. We were sent here. You get the word? Consent. We were sent here with God's favor. That's why we consented to come, because we knew that we are of God. Okay, we know that on a soul level. This is why we consented to come here, because God has created this life. God has created the earth. When we consent, that means we have God's favor. That's why we were sent here. You get what I'm saying? So consent is with God's essence upon us, with God's favor. That's why we were sent here. That's the consent part. So we were sent here to experience, witness, remember. That's another thing. That's the major thing, is to remember. Because we chose to be here, that means we chose, but this is where the remembering comes into effect or into play. Because we chose, most of us don't remember, right? We don't remember until we start seeing signs within other people, within nature, within ourselves. We start seeing things. Now, how do we see things? Now, we don't see with these two eyes. We see with the divine sight. Yes, this is why we close our eyes. We see with the divine sight. And when you see with the divine sight, we are able to piece back things. We're able to see things clearly. Because when you see with your divine sight, you begin to slow down and you begin to see with divine sight. And divine sight, that's where our divine feminine is showing her essence. Okay? So we are seeing, and it helps us to remember. This is why all of us at times, you may get a vision, right? You may get some insight. This is all seeing. Seeing is not just a vision. Seeing can be in a thought that crosses your mind, okay? So we chose to be here. We consented because this is the will. This is the will of God, the favor of God to come here. So after we consented to come, what's next? What is the next step? So we go through all these experiences, and with divine sight, we begin to remember things. The next thing that I am getting is we are decoders. So the next code that I am picking up right now is the code of remembrance of courage. Yes. So we have to have the courage, dear ones, the remembrance of courage. Yes. When we can remember that we have the courage and we can remember that we chose to come here to remember, because it's in the remembering that we can actually begin this journey. So how do we begin to remember? How do we begin? Well, I'm just going to share with you that I have a soul alignment, the path of the master, for all of the chosen ones. And we all are the chosen ones. We all chose to be here. We all consented because we knew that this is what God, the source creator, wanted us to experience, to remember ourselves. So even though we consented, we still don't remember. And this is a part of it. The part of the journey, the part of remembrance is each step. Every day is a step closer and closer to remember yourself. So this is what soul alignment, the path of the master, has been created for us chosen ones. We even have brilliant ones. Yes, we have chosen ones and we have brilliant ones. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the brilliant ones because I already made a video on the brilliant ones. But on this path, when we are able to tap into our divine sight, we can tap into our divine hearing, we begin to remember these things. Yes, and we don't resist. Because when you resist, that means you are not in alignment with divine hearing, seeing, knowing, any of our innate natural abilities. Yes. And the reason why is because that resistance energy is louder. It is louder than the presence, the stillness. It is louder. So we have to quiet that resistance energy and strengthen our presence energy, which is receptance. Remember what I said about divine feminine? She's receptive. We have to strengthen that, and that is strengthening. It is. So when we begin to strengthen that receptive essence that is us, it really is, and that receptance energy is still, is listening. We're able to hear, but you can't hear and be receptive if resistance, and let me think of another word, if judgment, if those expressions are very loud, you're not going to be able to allow receptance to help you receive information because you have resistance going on. Anytime you have resistance going on, that blocks out receptance. Anytime you have judgment going on, that blocks out receptance. So on soul alignment, the path of the master is helping you to strengthen your receptive essence, which is your divine feminine. It's helping you to strengthen that and to quiet the resistance, to quiet the judgment, because When they're louder, you can't receive. And this is what this journey is about, is receiving. We give and receive. We give and receive. As I said, when we allow these louder energies of resistance, of judgment, of uncertainty. Now let's decode those three words. What is the opposite of uncertainty? Being certain. I am certain. So when you are certain, there's no resistance. Now, what's the opposite of resistance? Receptance. Okay? So you're recepting. I am receptive. Do you feel the difference in that? So when you receive receptance, or you are, I am receptance, you will receive. But if you are resistance, then what? You are not going to receive. Now, if you're judgmental, what's the opposite of judgmental? What's the opposite of judgmental? What's the opposite of judgmental? Being non-judgmental. And it boils back down to being receptive. So when we can see ourselves being receptive, right? Being open, right? Then what happens? You're able to receive messages. You're able to receive more information. But if we are resistant, judgmental, uncertain, doubtful, okay, when all those things take place, you can't be receptive because it's the opposite. So in soul alignment, the path of the master, we are learning to be receptive. We are learning to not doubt. We are learning to not judge. We are learning to not be resistant. Because when we resist, that means we are resisting life itself, and we are life. We are resisting the life that the Creator, that God has created for us to experience. This is why we consented, because we knew that we were sent here to experience this beautiful life so we can remember ourselves. Remember, because we have many aspects of ourselves. Did you catch that? We have many aspects as the members. Many of us. Many. So much that you can't even count. Okay? So when we can align to receptivity, then our life is in a flow. Yes. Things flow to us because we're not resistant. Now, we've been resistant because that has been the imprint on humanity. The imprint that we have to struggle. We have to fight. We got to go through this battle. But little did we know, we're going through a battle with ourselves because we are resisting ourselves. For what reason? Because it's an imprint. So in soul alignment, the path of the master, we are learning to detach from those imprints that limit us, because we are unlimited. We are in an expansive essence that is free, yes. But when we allow the imprints to navigate our life, then we are not able to be receptive. So essentially, it's a relearning, it's a upgrading. This is why the full moon yesterday is so significant, because it's helping us to clear out those karmic cycles, which is essence of resistance. We're clearing that out. The essence of judgment, we're clearing that out. The essence of being doubtful, we're clearing that out. So how do you clear it out? You acknowledge that about yourself. You acknowledge when it comes up, and then you state the opposite, that I'm not resistant. I'm not doubtful. I'm not judgmental. Yeah, we state it. We state it and we clear it out by stating the opposite. I'm receptive. I'm assured of myself. I'm non-judgmental. Yeah, you have to state it and then you have to be it. So yes, this is a process of us relearning. And this is one of the phases in soul alignment, the path of the master, because dear ones, you are a master. Yes, you are. You are a master that is here to remember that you are a fractal of God. You are a spark of creation. Yes. And this is just the beginning. The journey is the beginning. As a matter of fact, when you learn one thing, then there's another thing to learn. So then that's another part to your journey, which are steps. So the steps of the journey is the most significant. It's not the destination, it's the steps. Because in each step, you learn more about you. You find out that you're connected to this beautiful universe. Matter of fact, this multiverse. You're connected to all of the suns. You're connected to all of the moons and all of the stars because you are a star. Yes, and I share this many times. You are a beautiful, shining star. But what happens? We look outside of ourselves, right, to other people that are stars, meaning celebrities. And that's okay, because guess what? They are here to inspire you so you can shine your own light, because you are a star as well. Everybody's a star. So everything that I'm saying, dear ones, is most certainly to help us remember, okay? We are remembering ourselves today. And that's a beautiful thing. And we have the 999 portal, which is going to be even more expansive because we get to close out even more in our lives. Yeah, it's endings. It's like, it's deaths and rebirths, deaths, rebirths. So we're going to be ending out a cycle. And this is where I get the code of remembrance of courage. So do you have the courage to open the door to a new version of yourself? Do you have the courage to do so? This is what's happening. Because the 999 portal is ending all of those things that we have already learned. And it is opening us up to a new beginning, new ideas, fresh beginnings, fresh start to learn more deeply about yourself. By the way, that is an ancient one. Yeah, you are an ancient one, dear ones. It's just fascinating. I say it's fascinating, it's brilliance. Yes. So dear ones, I'm going to place a link for Soul Alignment, the Path of the Master, because the Master has the courage to walk that new path, to learn every day more things about yourself. And when you do, you're going to just keep opening up more and more and more. And because of that, we are anchoring in the new earth. And what is the new earth? It's a state of being. That's what we're doing. So you chose to be here. Mm-hmm. You chose to be here. You consented to be here because God created this beautiful earth for us to experience, not to be afraid, not to resist it, not to doubt our experiences, not to be judgmental, but to experience this beautiful gift of life. That's why we consented, so we can experience and then remember who we are. So I'm going to end it on that note, dear ones. Remember that you consented to be here. That is what the chosen one is. The chosen one consented to be here. They chose to be here. They chose to walk this path. But along the journey, because the journey has veils of amnesia and we forget all the time. We forget all the time. This is why Soul Alignment, the path of the master, was created so you can remember and get back on the path, because you're here to help the present reality and future generations so we can generate love, joy, kindness, wealth, abundance, integrity, creativity. Yes, we're here to generate all of that. And when we do generate that, guess what that's doing? That's helping all of humanity to level up, to be expansive, to be our true selves. That's essentially what it is. We are leveling up to be our true selves, to be our expressive selves, our true, loving, beautiful selves. Yeah. You are beauty in a body. Yes, you are. And it's a shame a lot of us, and this includes myself, we have forgotten about the beauty that we are. We have forgotten about so much. This is why we are graduating, ending out cycles, and creating realities where we can generate, as I said, more love, more joy, more kindness. Yes, this is what is happening. This is very massive. It's not what you think. You know, this life that we all live now, for those who choose to stay in that mundane life and they're happy, that's fine. But for the chosen ones that have the courage, the remembrance of courage, then you are going to see the expansiveness of yourself and of the world, because the world is a reflection of you, everything. And we are learning that more and more. Yes, we are. So it's a beautiful day just to connect and to walk a life that is authentic and true to you. All right, beautiful ones. I'm Sonia from Empowered Sovereign. Enjoy the rest of this new day. And it is a new beautiful day because you are in it. This world would not be the world that it is if you were not in it with your presence. All right, beautiful ones. Beautiful ones, take care. Much love, much light. Take care. As the master.